In this video, I'll share with you the best method to learn Greek that I actually personally used when I was learning Egyptian Arabic a few years ago. If we haven't met, hi, I'm Dimitris and I'm the founder of Prepare for Greece. So far, I've helped more than 8,000 students learn Greek through my online courses and millions of people online through my videos that I upload on social media. So today, I'll share the strategy that really took me from zero in Egyptian Arabic to speaking pretty well in a few months. And this method, I call it the 10-10-10 method. So 10-10-10. What is this method? So when I was learning Egyptian Arabic, there was many ways I could approach the learning. I could watch YouTube videos, I went on Reels, on social media, I learned a few words, I downloaded PDFs, so I was getting vocabulary from all over the place. This is a common issue people face when learning every language. There's so much material out there, you start learning words and then you slowly get lost, you don't practice, and then you really feel lack of progress, and then when you go to talk to somebody, you freeze because you haven't had the experience to talk in this language. And the same thing happened to me when I was learning Egyptian Arabic. I would learn words from here and there, and then when it was time to talk, I would just freeze, I wouldn't feel confident. So I developed this method where I divided my learning into three sections. The learning where I went and looked at previous vocabulary I had already learned, learning where I actually learned new words, and 10 minutes of listening or speaking. So that's why I called it the 10-10-10 method. Because if I wanted to study half an hour in a given day, I would spend 10 minutes revising already existing vocabulary that I knew. I would spend 10 minutes learning new vocabulary and 10 minutes actually practicing listening through YouTube videos or speaking, going out in the public and actually speaking with people that spoke Arabic. Fun fact here in Greece, there's actually a lot of people who are from Egypt. So that facilitated my practice because I would go to the center of Athens, I would see people who are from Egypt, I would talk to them, and then I would slowly practice Egyptian Arabic. You don't necessarily need to do that for the speaking part. Another way I did before I went to the center of Athens and practice was through apps. I personally used Hello Talk, which is a great app to connect with people who are learning languages. So in Hello Talk, I made my profile and I said, hey, I speak Greek and English and I want to learn Egyptian Arabic. So it connected me with people who spoke Egyptian Arabic and wanted primarily to work on their English. So that's how I would actually practice speaking and listening with them, because we would hop on calls and I would speak a bit of Arabic. They would improve my words, my phrases, and then they would speak English and I would help them with their English. So that's the segment when it comes to listening or speaking. So I'll get to this again in a bit. So what really worked for me is I got a notebook and I split each page into two parts. The one part I actually wrote down every new Egyptian word I learned. So I would actually write it in English characters the way I would listen to it because I didn't know how to write. So if I learned a word, I would just write it down the way I heard it. And then I would write in the other side of the same page, the meaning. So that's how I learned new vocabulary. I would go on YouTube and find words I didn't know and write them down. I used Duolingo a bit, but it wasn't great, but it still gave me vocabulary, and also from Reels. So every day when I started my studying, I'd spend 10 minutes revising the vocabulary I had already written down. So I would take a piece of paper, I would hide the Egyptian Arabic part, and I would see the Greek part, and be like, okay, good morning. How do we say good morning in Egyptian Arabic? Sabah al-khair. Correct, amazing. So if there were words that I repeatedly didn't remember, I'd put a star, so next to the Greek meaning. So then I remembered, okay, when I would go back, I'm like, okay, from this page, I'm not very familiar with this word and this word. So I'd really focus on that. So this is the exact same method I would actually recommend for you for Greek. Get a notebook, split each page into two halves, and one part write the English word and then the Greek word. And spend 10 minutes a day practicing all the vocabulary you've already know or the new words you're noting down. And just as time was going to go by, just start putting asterisks on the ones you don't know, and then you'll slowly learn them as well. Then spend 10 minutes a day actually learning new vocabulary through YouTube videos or through any other resources you could actually hear the pronunciation clearly. And I'll spend 10 minutes also practicing through people, either friends, family, or if you don't have friends or family who speak Greek, I would highly recommend you go on an app like Hello Talk. I'm sure there's other apps that connect you with native speakers. So that would be a great way for you to actually put time under talking and time under listening. Like how do like in the gym you put yourself time under pressure when you're doing weights. So it's the same concept, time under speaking or time under listening. So if you have more time, let's say like I had usually half an hour to study, so I did 10, 10, and 10. But if you have like an hour to study, do 20, 20, 20. Or if you have less time, you have 15 minutes in a given day, do 5 minutes of practicing, 5 minutes of speaking, and 5 minutes of existing vocabulary being refreshed. So again, I call this the 10-10 methods, and all of my courses are actually built to help you with the 10-10 method. So because I know a lot of people are struggling with finding vocabulary, I build my courses so it provides so much vocabulary for them to actually write down on their notebook and practice. So if you're interested, I have a link in my description if you want to see more information about the courses. Really use the 10-10-10 method and let me know in the comments how you like the method.